okay, this is your family. Like, you love them. Like, you don't have to, like, they're not toxic. You know, they don't do that. And then one day I was just like, well, not me, my therapist. She was like, I think your family is toxic to you.
I've had someone tell me that the only reason why they did some of the stuff that they did is because of what people did to them in the past. And when I reached out to try to help, but of course I knew then, exactly like I knew now, you can't help anybody unless they help themselves first.
Okay.
But it's like when you have somebody there to reach out and try to help you get past all of that, why does it become this big obstacle standing in front of you? And then it's like, no, I don't want to get past it. I want to continue to do this.
Toxic.
Pretty much. Hey guys, welcome back to the Audaciously Me podcast. I am your host, Ashley D, and I am back with another wonderful segment. This time the segment is for the men. Men get to share everything that they feel the need to share on this podcast. Women, we had our chance. Now let's listen to the guys and see what they have to say. Today, my special guest on the Brothers Unleashed segment is Marco DePrince from the Hear Me Out podcast. Marco, introduce yourself to the people.
Hey world, how y'all doing? Marco DePrince, the host of Hear Me Out podcast. Currently residing in New York, staying safe and everything. So actually, thank you for allowing me to jump on your platform and join this conversation. I appreciate it.
No problem. When I saw your tweet on Twitter, I was like, yes, he'll be perfect. I need it. So,
I live on Twitter. So.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to have you here. I can't wait to dive into this topic. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, guys, our topic for the day is men and vulnerability. This is going to be good. I can feel it.
I'm waiting for this too.
Right. So we'll get right into this topic right after this brief promo.
What's going on, everybody? This is Kelvin, aka K-Mo with the heat, and this is a Brothers Unleashed segment on the Audaciously Me podcast. And I'll be coming to y'all next week, so stay tuned.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Marco, are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am, Ashley. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Okay, before I get started with the questions, do you have anything you want to add to start the topic off? Or do you want to just dive into the questions and feed off of those?
We'll just dive in. You know, my brain is like an 18-wheeler. It just keeps going.
Right. Okay, so the first question is, of course, why are men afraid to be vulnerable?
So I actually been thinking about this for like the last week when you sent me all this. I think for me, I was scared to be vulnerable because society places this whole like men got to be masculine and we can't show our feelings and we got to be the strong, like the person in the world, which it's really not the case. I'm a firm believer of everybody has a story to tell, whether it's happy, sad, or teary-eyed. And I feel like men, so to say, should tell their story without being judged. And while doing my podcast, While doing my podcast, I have become more vulnerable, just sharing my story and letting people hear me out.
Right.
But it is like podcasting has helped me become more vulnerable. Growing up, I'm the only guy in the family. So when I speak from experience, like men have to be like, you can't play with dolls and you got to play football and you can't cook. You got to cut the grass and you can't do this. You got to go do the car or whatever. I'm like, so that's not everybody's story. Like,
exactly.
I don't know how to drive a car. I know how to put gas in it and I know how to drive it. Everything else I take to the mechanic.
Okay.
I just think I think we as men, we just hold this higher standard up of us, where it's like, nope, I can't show no weak side. for whatever reason that is. And I don't know where it came from, but I'm just like, no, man, we can be vulnerable. Like, it's okay to show your feelings and express it and get your point across. Because if you don't, you just bottling all that shit up inside.
Right. Now, like, to that, I feel like most of this well, how do I want to put this? Okay, with men growing up, what I've seen the most is that it's mostly our Black men that are told, you know, don't show any weakness, don't be sad, don't let anybody know you're hurt.
Right.
And in a way, I feel like that has blocked something within them that causes them to act in a way that they probably wouldn't act in if they would actually let their emotions out. Like, I've been around multiple cultures, and like, so far all I've seen is the Black man try to hide their true emotions and feelings. Not all Black men, but most of them. And it's so hard for them to let that out. And I hate to see that, because, you know, we all have feelings. And I feel like we should all be able to let them out in some way.
I also feel like men and women, we express our feelings different. Like with, and this is like probably being sexist now, but like women, they like to read and like write and like do like more calming things. Men, we go hang out with our boys, we go play spades, we play dominoes, like, and then that's where we get like, let me tell you what's happening with me and my girl, like over a spades game, you know? So like, there are burnable spaces for us, but I don't feel like they're in the right environment, so to say. So I wish more men wrote or spoke about their story, because you could be inspiring anybody out here. It's like this whole podcast thing, like there was more Black men, like I'm pretty sure there are, but like just telling their whole fucking story from growing up until now and all the shit that they've been through, whether it's jail or you got a fucking master's degree. I want to hear all that. Like, okay. Like, because I like to see the growth of people. Like,
me too.
If I meet you, yes, that's who you are today, but like, where did you come from? You don't know where you're going until you know where you've been. So
exactly. Like, I try to encourage the men around me, you know, just let it out. Don't hold all that in, because it turns into aggression and you use it in the wrong way. And I used to be a person that would use my aggression in the wrong way. So I had to find ways, like this is one of my ways, this podcast is one of my ways of letting things out so that I can put it towards something positive and to help somebody. So it's like, I want to do this segment to help men understand that it's okay to feel every emotion that's running through you, and just find some way to put it out on paper. Go to a reservoir or a river or something, throw some rocks out there and say everything that comes to your mind. Just, oh, I'm mad at her. Oh, that's nasty, bitch. Oh, this. You know, let it out. Oh. I just want all of it to be let out. I feel like the world would be a better place if more men would just feel their emotions instead of bottling them up.
And that also has to do with going to therapy, because therapy, like for me, example, like it pulls out different emotions that I didn't even have. And I know, like, I have some Black male friends that are like, yeah, I'm not going to see no therapist. I'm not crazy. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to be crazy. Go see a therapist.
Okay.
You're literally just going to talk to somebody that, you know, like you might have childhood trauma that you're taking in on every relationship or your friendship or job or whatever. And it's okay to talk to people. You're literally just sitting there having a conversation like this.
Okay. Right. Okay, my next question, you've answered it in so many ways, but I kind of want to highlight it. So I'm going to ask it. So do you think this is learned behavior from childhood, or do you think society has made it? I'm sorry. Excuse me, y'all. I can't talk today. Do you think society has made our men this way?
Yes. Yeah, just with like all the TV networks, or not TV networks, but like different types of movies and shows, like there's always like the masculine, like rough and tough guy. And I'm like, everybody is not like that. If you have the opposite side, where if they are part of a certain community, it's only one side displayed. I'm like, who created these images and characters? Because, like, that does not represent me on my TV.
Right.
So I think it has a lot to do with the media and the TV networks. Is just like, oh no, you're black male, so you need to be strong. And just like, well, actually, so this actually brings me back to Baby Boy with Tyrese. Like, it's a great movie, but like, again, his mom like was just like, you need to be a man and you need to get out of my house and do this. Granted, I understand where she was coming from, because he was like a grown ass man living under her house, which in that part, you need to get out and get your own job and like have your own roof, but you can still come over like 3-4 times a week and just sit with your mom and just talk and have some wine and things. But none of that was displayed in the movie. It made him look like he was basically a little bitch. And, you know, if you think about the black community and when we describe that movie, it's like, Jody ain't shit. Jody was just a baby boy and all this and that. And I'm like, but like, if we really break down the script and the alignment of the movie, it's just like, none of it was healthy. Like the mom, the new boyfriend Melvin wasn't healthy, and then Tyrese. I mean, that's a whole fucking thing right there. You got baby mamas, and yeah. So I think we have to start. What am I trying to say? I feel like we have to start defining our own vulnerability and like expressing us as individuals versus what the media and magazines and TV shows and movies is portraying us to be.
Right. I agree with that. And you know what? I didn't think of Baby Boy like that until you just broke it down.
Everybody in that movie was toxic. Like,
everybody.
But I'm like, again, that's not all the black families.
It's not. It's not.
I don't know. And he could have went to therapy, and they could have like, I wish there was like a better conclusion at the end of the movie where it's like, hey, you know, we could be a family, went to therapy, X, Y, and Z, but you know how Hollywood is. They're not going to give us that.
Exactly. Now with Hollywood, I can say the only time you would see a black actor or actress go to therapy in a movie is when they've already broke batshit crazy and there's hardly ever any fixing them or turning them around.
Exactly, because we already did crazy. You crazy, you need to go talk to somebody. No, you made me crazy and I didn't talk to nobody before I got to this place. Right. So now this is the outcome.
Okay. Oh goodness. So with men not being able to show their I'm sorry, I can't even talk today. Jesus. Y'all excuse me, but with men not being able to show their vulnerable side, what are your thoughts on some things that men face? Why do they struggle to get past it?
Give me an example.
Like, say for instance, okay, I'll use this. This is one from my past, okay? I've had someone tell me that the only reason why they did some of the stuff that they did is because of what people did to them in the past. And when I reached out to try to help, but of course I knew then, exactly like I knew now, you can't help anybody unless they help themselves first.
Okay.
But it's like when you have somebody there to reach out and try to help you get past all of that, why does it become this big obstacle standing in front of you? And then it's like, no, I don't want to get past it. I want to continue to do this.
Toxic.
Pretty much.
I actually just talked about this on somebody's platform. Just like, I don't know why people don't want to attack their problems. Like, it's baffling to me. And what we were talking about is, Marco, would you potentially date somebody that's not going to therapy to try to battle like their issues? And my answer was like, no, straight up. If you don't want to help yourself, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, I can't be the only one that's helping you. Just like, for example, like, hey, say you are like body shaming yourself every time we talk, or you eat at McDonald's and you just like, I just wish I can lose weight. Well, if you're not changing the way you eat, or at least just going on a 15-minute walk every day, I'm not you, Ashley. All right, that was probably a bad example, but
No, you're fine.
But like, just like, if, for example, if I'm just like, man, all these men on Instagram got fire beach bodies and shit like that, because men do that. We follow other men on social media that got nice bodies, just like, I don't know if women do it, but it's the same thing. Like, I follow men that just like are cut and ripped and like do workout routines. I'm like, well, I want to be like that, but I also haven't made any effort to go to the gym and like start a routine. But I have started walking and running and riding my bike and doing things to get there. But we can't get nowhere if you're not helping yourself.
Okay.
And, what'd you say?
I said, okay.
I don't know why people, they just don't want to grow. I think they're comfortable with just being the same individual that they've been with. And I don't need, like, for me as a person, I don't want that type of energy in my circle, in my life, because if we're not moving forward together, where are we going? Where the car is parked. We need to keep driving. There's gas in the car, but I'm not going to be driving it. Okay?
Okay, look, that sounds like me right there. I'm like, what are we doing? We're going to have to grow. We got to go. Let's go.
Exactly. Like, life is short, and like, it like might sound like harsh and shit, but it's like, it's real life. Like, yeah, I just, if we're not growing together, you don't want to fight your battles and all this other shit, like, what are you doing? Because I already know what I'm not doing. We're not doing
okay. So that gave me another question. All right. Well, let me say this first. I agree with when you say go to therapy. Therapy works. I haven't went. I did my self-therapy, you know. But I do recommend people going to therapy. But if you don't want to do that, at least take the time to do it yourself and actually dig deep down inside and find the root of your problem and go straight into it. Don't try to run from it. Don't try to find a shortcut. Go straight into it. And then that's where you will find yourself at the lowest point and there's nowhere else to go but up.
Hello.
I had to do that. Okay. So this is my other question. All right. When it comes to Black men in therapy and Black men, I'm not just going to say Black men. This is all men, most women too. When it comes to getting set in your ways, especially from growing up and you're seeing certain things be done a certain way and you're being told certain things, do you feel as though at a point when you become an adult that sometimes you have to unlearn some of the things that you were taught in order to grow, or do you stick with those and just keep going in that same cycle?
No. It's so funny you ask that, because I'm a family man, or used to be a family man. So I like to consider myself like the protector in the family. I'm the only guy. I've moved away. Like, I always check on them. I'm always doing the calling and texting and all that. And I had to stop myself from doing that. And I had to battle with it. Like, okay, this is your family. Like, you love them. Like, you don't have to, like, they're not toxic. You know, they don't do that. And then one day I was just like, well, not me, my therapist. She was like, I think your family is toxic to you. And she was like, just every time you come in here, they just do something that just pisses you off. And she's like, I'm just gonna challenge you to like not text, not talk, don't do anything with them for the next 2 weeks until we meet again. And you know, I'm always here from home for homework. I did it. And actually, when I tell you like nobody called, nobody texted for 2 weeks straight to just check on me to see how I'm doing, I was like, my therapist is right. They only want me. I only call out to them. And now that I'm not doing it, they're like, where are you at? Why haven't you called us? And then I just sit back and listen. I'm like, do y'all not hear what you guys are saying? Why haven't you called us? Because the phone works two ways here. Like, I don't have to always reach out. And again, I'm not saying you always have to reach out to me, but the phone works two ways, and this is a two-way street. What you put in is what you get out.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally had to just unlearn some of the toxic traits that I was just built on, of just like being the man in the family and just like learning my whole identity as an adult by myself without them being involved. So
Okay.
I think it's different for everybody else. Some people can like unlearn it, but then some people are just like, nope, I just won't deal with it, but I'll just keep going forward with it. I'll just shut it off. But that's not healthy either.
Mm-mm. So, look, I was getting all into that. I'm like, mm-hmm.
I can keep going.
But,
But yeah, I don't know. And not everybody's family, but like Black families, like I have met so many families that are just like, and when I say I met so many families, it's like, because I adopt my friends as like my sisters and brothers and nieces and nephews. So when I say like, Ashley, you my sister, and we hanging out around Thanksgiving, like I'm gonna be like, hey, so how many of y'all go to therapy? I'm that one. And then I'm like, oh, so wrong energy. But we'll keep eating this good old macaroni and cheese and turkey and everything. They're just not there yet. And I did it one time at a Thanksgiving, and I got a lot of backlash. I was like, I don't know why this whole negative thing on therapy for Black families, where it came from or anything, but there are Black therapists out there. So that should just one thing. Like, oh, maybe it's not as crazy because people are actually in this profession and want to help. But they don't look at it like that. They look at it as I'm not crazy and I don't really need help. I'm good. No, you're not. You just had 3 different girlfriends within 6 months. That's
it's not healthy at all.
had 8 different sex partners within the last 2 weeks. That's not healthy. To each his own.
Okay.
But there are toxic traits out there that we don't know we have that we just got to unpack with ourselves.
Oh yeah. And like the whole thing about, I feel like the thing with Black families in therapy is, I know I've been told my whole life growing up, people don't need to know your business. You don't have to go tell nobody that. You don't have to say this. You don't have to say that. And I'm like, I need to, because when I had all that stuff bottled up in me, I could have killed somebody. That's how mad I was, you know. And then you said the what now?
I said I'm a ticking time bomb. Like
okay.
I'm like, that's why I started going to therapy, because one day I was like, you know what, Marco, this is not okay. We should probably just go talk and like, what is really wrong? Because it was just a lot of shit just going up, and I was like, okay, we'll start here and then we'll see what else we can unpack. And I am so much lightheaded now. There's no anger on my heart. I mean, I still go on my little rants and shit like on my show, but like that's just shit that like I really enjoy doing. It's not really anger, but
right.
like me cussing somebody out and like fighting and no.
You are exactly right.
I'm supposed to be doing that. Like fighting in Walmart. There are kids looking at me. No.
Exactly.
We can go meet up at the park though and just let's fight, let's get it out, and we can dap it up afterwards, you know?
Okay.
I mean, I just feel like sometimes, not for everybody, but fighting is like a good stress reliever, like boxing and wrestling and shit. Like, but there's just different ways to express your anger, and it doesn't always have to be fighting and like just holding it and just sweeping it under the rug. It's okay to just talk to people and just let you be heard. Because I mean,
Right.
at the house, like it's always like, whatever, go take the chicken out the fridge. We'll talk about it later. Later, it's I got to shower and then go to bed, and now I got to go back to
Mm-hmm.
school. I'm talking as me being like a 7-year-old or whatever. Then I got to go back to school, and now I'm angry at my friends for shit that my mom or my dad did the night before, and it's just a cycle that just keeps going on and on and on. I've seen it in some of my friends. Just I'm like, you should probably just go talk to somebody, but I only have the conversations twice. I don't like to have conversations about one thing over and over. Personally.
Okay. Now, my next question, like this has been told to me as a woman, but I mostly hear it around little boys growing up. Like if you fall, scrape your knee and it hurts really, really bad, you're told to dry it up. You are okay. You're not dying.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that now as an adult?
I hate it. Um, if I was to have a child, um, I would baby him or her. Um, because I'm the only one that's gonna baby him or her. Ain't nobody in this world, ain't nobody else gonna baby them. So if I can baby them as long as I can, but teach them the lesson behind it, I'm gonna do that. Like for example, if I had a 9-year-old son and he was playing Legos or video game, because that's very popular now, and he was frustrated, I'd be like, come on, son, let's go to the store, let's go get some ice cream, get out that space really quick. Like, how was your day? And then go back to the game. Because if you keep playing it and playing it and playing it, you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna start throwing shit. And if you throw something at this TV, I'm gonna have to beat your ass.
Right.
But like, I never liked the fall down, scrape, and just keep running. Like that method does not work. Like, are you like? It is so easy to just be like, "Are you okay? How are you feeling? Breathe. Okay. Do you know what you did wrong? Do you know like if they were like playing football? Okay, yeah, you're hurt. You tackled. Okay, you good. But you also know that this is the game of football, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
People are gonna hurt you. You're gonna get hit. You can hit people back, but this whole scrape your knee and just keep running, because that's
Okay.
it's like failing and then not acknowledging that you failed.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always hated it. Who made
Right.
that's dumb.
I don't know. So like it's no lesson learned behind saying you all right, get up, you ain't dead yet, you know?
And I've
I
seen
feel like growing up hearing that every time something hurts me, whether I fall, my feelings get hurt or something, I find myself now telling myself, you're all right, you're not dead, keep going. And that causes me to block that emotion. And then when it's finally up to here, it just comes out in the wrong way.
Mhm.
So it's like trying to tell myself, don't do that, don't do that. Because I found myself telling my kids that when they would fall, you're all right, you're not dead, keep going, keep going. And I ain't gonna lie, I got some tough kids. They barely show emotions.
Make sure you baby them, girl, because you know ain't nobody in these crazy ass states gonna baby them but you. They get one mama.
Right.
So I'm all for it. I want people to baby their kids, but when like if we at auntie's house, don't baby him. We will talk about this when we get home. Because I think about it like everybody outside of me, they don't care. They just
Mm-hmm.
and that just might be my experience growing up, but like I spoiled myself. Like I just came back from a business trip, and you know that feeling when you're like, "Ooh, I spent too much. I don't want to check my credit card."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Marco, it is okay. If you don't check that credit card statement and just pay that bill, we've been through a whole pandemic. You ain't good. It is okay. It is.
Okay.
And like I was like, "Oh, Marco, you should never did that. Like that was some bullshit." And then I was like, You can't do that. You cannot beat yourself up.
Right.
Look at the bill. And then maybe next time you won't spend as much, but you'll still have just as much as fun. So.
That was good right there. Teaching yourself that. I'm still trying to get that way.
We all do it. We all go on vacation and we swipe and spend cash and hookah and drinks and outfits and like come as you already know the airport going back home. You're like, okay, today we're gonna eat McDonald's. Next day it might be Wendy's 4 for $4s. And I'm like, okay, it's okay that you can eat McDonald's and stuff because you just had gourmet meals. Like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's okay just to fall back just a little bit and then get yourself back up again. Dust yourself off and try again, just like Aaliyah
Okay.
said.
Boom, that's it right there.
I was gonna say, I always come with the musical gems.
So, last question. As a man, do you feel the need to plan first and then attack? Or are you one of those that would like to plan first and then attack, but if the opportunity presents itself, are you also a leaper where you just dive straight into it and roll with the punches?
I'm a mixture. So I'll give you this little backstory. So I quit my job in June, but I already knew, like mentally, I already knew I was gonna quit. I didn't know how it was gonna look. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I just was like, I'm not working for no white person. Like I can't continue to get up and make these white people's dreams come true. And I was like, okay. And this is before the pandemic and like all this. And then the pandemic happened. And I was like, look at that. This is the perfect time to quit your motherfucking job, create a plan. So I stayed at my job. The pandemic started in March, April, May. So I stayed at my job for about 4 months during the pandemic. Then I just got tired because again, they didn't care about me. We didn't have no masks. We didn't have no hand sanitizer. We didn't have any of that until like May. And we were still letting people in the building and everything. And I was like, okay. So you need to create a plan to escape because this is unhealthy for you mentally and physically. But so like I say that I took a leap mentally, but then physically I did the planning. Like all my brunches, like I cut back brunches for like a long time. I would only do household brunches and I would just put all that money in the savings account. Like I'd be like, okay. It's okay if you don't get to go out and have brunch, but you can still have brunch inside.
Okay.
Whether it's a breakfast sandwich or some fucking oatmeal and some orange and champagne, it's still brunch.
That's it.
It's all about compromise. So I would tell people have like the correct mindset before you plan, because if the mindset doesn't match the plan, it's not gonna work.
Right. I ask that because I've noticed with a lot of men, like say for instance, well, with my situation now, he shouldn't mind me saying this. Like, I want to move. And it's like, we plan on moving together. We wanted to get a house built.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know the area of which I'm choosing to want to move to all that well and where we will want to, build a house. So I'm like, okay, well, I want to move within this time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his biggest thing is I want to be financially stable in order to do that. I understand it, but like you said, your mind has to match the plan. So when I came to you and talked about it, that's when we could have started planning, putting our finances together, putting stuff to the side and making it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say you want to be something and then hope it happens like that. I notice a lot of men tend to think like that, and it tends to make people wait or hold them back from doing something that they actually want to do. Because if it's in the plans for you to move within your lifetime, it's gonna happen. whether you plan for it or not, you know. And it's kind of like, that's why I asked, like, are you a leaper or do you plan before you go? Because I'm a leaper.
So
I leap.
it's funny that you use that example because I was a leaper. So I'm from Portland and
Mhm.
I'm in New York, but I lived all up and down the East Coast. And all the states that I lived in, I've never visited the city. I didn't have no job lined up. I was just like, okay, let's go. I lived in DC, Florida, Tennessee, New York now. And the next state is questionable because I just don't know where I'm going. But with that, like, as long as, like, I don't like, how do I put it? Um, I took a leap of faith because I know like I know my drive. If I need a job, I can throw a suit on, clean myself up really nice and get a job. Granted, it might not be the job that I want today, but is it gonna pay me every
Right.
or weekly? Okay, I'm gonna take this little check. And again, I've had jobs that pay me really well and I've had jobs that paid me pennies, but it's all about living in your lifestyle and your means.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was working before I quit, that was a really good job. I worked for a bank. So like good insurance, good bonuses, good pay and salary and everything. I was like, oh, I'm living life. Like I can go
Okay.
to lunch every weekend. But then I also had retail jobs where I was getting paid like $11 an hour. Still had the same lifestyle. Still going to brunch, still pay my bills, still traveling. It's all about the mindset. So I say if y'all wanna get up and go, there's only so much talking that you can do. You just gotta
Mm-hmm.
pack it up and figure it out, but still have okay, we're gonna go to LA. Okay. We know we don't have a job, but do we have enough money to just get an apartment and at least survive for like 2 months? We can get food stamps. And we as Black people, we gotta stop being scared to use the system.
Okay.
Whole food stamps and all because white people are using it to build their houses and buy yachts and everything. Black people, we can do the same fucking thing. This whole $1,200 stimulus, I seen most of y'all niggas out here buying Gucci slides and crab legs.
Right.
I Ours, when did it come? Mine came in March. I still ain't touched mine. Only because I got a fear that the government is gonna retake it back, but that could just be me and the government just not having good bonds. But we can't be scared to use the resources. Like I will be the first to go down to DHS and go apply for some food stamps. The only thing that they can tell me is no.
Yep. And you know what? I've never really been able to really use the system because I have had like really good paying jobs when it came time for me to be able to use the system with kids, you know? And it's like, no, you make too much. No, you make too much. I've been told no for a long time. I was so happy to get those, what do they call it? PEBT. I was so happy to get that.
You say you're gonna give me $100, I would take it.
Okay.
Dollars worth. Maybe this would just be like our fruits and vegetables every week where we just divide it up and just try to figure out what we're gonna cook. And then the rest of like the noodles and the sauce come out of my pocket. You gotta use
Okay.
that to get where you're going.
Right. Right. And like, I'm not afraid to tell nobody. The nice cars I was
I'm just
driving,
very
I leased
about
them.
people.
Lease those cars. Goodness.
Yo, when people tell me they're like, "Oh, this ain't mine." Okay, because first of all, I knew this wasn't your car. This is a $56,000 car, and how you living is not matching up with what you got. But it's okay. Do you? You live it in your means. You come,
Okay.
bills is paid. You got it. So I commend people. Like, and I don't know. I really white people do it all the time. Like,
All
and
the time.
when I worked for the bank, the PPP loans, the private protection payment plans for small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, there was small businesses only making like 35,000, but they were getting approved for $60,000 and $90,000 loans and grants.
Right.
Start applying for these shit because
Okay.
The only thing that they can tell you is literally no.
That's
Like,
it.
just apply and just see what happens, because the world is ours. We have the
Mm-hmm.
just got to stop being scared. And Google is at the tip of our phone. All we have to do is just type it in. How does this work? You can apply for food stamps on your phone.
Mm-hmm. And like this talk right here made me realize a lot of stuff that I see on social media, especially coming from like the Black men, not all, but most, they pride themselves off of, pretty much, this is no shade to anybody, I got my money because I saved it, or I'm breaking my back to make this amount of money so I can have it to show off to you guys. It's not all about showing off. I feel like if Black men would stop being scared, like you say, to use the system, just like everybody else does, you won't have to break your neck for other people's businesses to get to where you want to get to. You can use that system and build yourself. Then you don't have to worry about, hey, I want to wait till I'm financially stable, or hey, I want to wait and see what this person's going to tell me about this job opportunity. You could just step out there, use the resources that the world has out for you, and make something of it. Create your own thing if you have to.
Okay. Because like I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, I will look at me telling all my business every single time I jump on somebody's show. I would rather wear some like fake Gucci and Burberry, because y'all niggas don't know if it's real or not. All y'all know is the print design. And as long as it matches what's in the store, who gonna tell me it's fake?
Nobody.
Okay, because I can look as fly as y'all too, with the fake and with the real. The only difference is yours got a little article thingy inside to show that it came from the store. Ain't nobody getting my bags and stuff to, let me see if this is real. No.
Okay.
You think it's real? That's the question.
That's it. That's all.
I know what it is.
Okay.
Do you think it's real? Okay. So I'm gonna let you think that it's real. I don't know. I just don't know where this whole like, one thing that's always irritated me nowadays is like when people put like hundreds all up on their arm and like stand it. I'm like, when do we get to the point in life where we just show people how much money we got and we stunting on Instagram and Facebook and all this other shit? I'm like, I would never do that, first of all. I don't even like pulling out cash out of my wallet, because again, that's a visual that people can see how much money you got. Granted, I still might have debit wallet, but still they'd be like, "Ooh, he got a couple of hundreds in his wallets. Why you all over here? I'm gonna swipe this good old debit card, and as long as you know that I got it."
Okay. And look, I even have a habit of, like, I don't carry cash. I swipe my debit card. I'm like, look, baby, we got to hold our mouth right so it'll go through now, okay?
I'd be like, oh, you said 21, so we're going to take something off. 16, got it. Okay, we can do that. We'll go ahead and swipe right now. You just got to know your means. Like, like, I don't know. And this also comes from me, like, I used to be homeless too. So, like, when... like, I used to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and noodles for like a whole month, and I'm still here.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. We just have to change our mindset of living and not really be like the fashion forwards and I got this and you don't have that type of bullshit. No. Like, we need to work together so everybody can win in this. So.
Exactly. So, do you have any words of encouragement for our Black men out there?
Oh, Black men, let me tell y'all, I know it's hard right now to see all this shit on the news and the media. All I want to say is make sure you take time out to just go on a walk, to go on a run, put your phone down, just breathe. Take a nice, long, hot shower in silence and just de-stress, because I'm stressed. I know Black women are stressed. The whole Black community is stressed. Like, just pick up a book, pick up a journal, do something that's not related to social media, and keep striving for excellence. Use your resources.
Okay.
And we got this. We gotta worry about ourselves first before we can worry about anything else.
Exactly. I like that. They need to take heed to that right there. So before we head out, you guys, you know where to find me. All of my links are down in the description below. And if you need to catch up on any episodes, those will be down in the description below as well. And also, Marco, he's going to let you know where you can find him one more time. And I'm also going to drop his stuff down in the description below as well.
What's up, y'all? You already know y'all can find me at Hear Me Out on all streaming services, Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, all that shit. Wherever you find your music, you can find me. If you're looking for me on the socials and my crazy ass, Twitter and Instagram is Hear Me Out. And Hear Me Out every week where I just talk my shit and just talk about shit that's not really happening in the world because I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
So, yeah, come hear me out.
Definitely go hear him out, y'all. Y'all will enjoy it. Like, I've gotten some really good laughs off of you.
My show is all about laughs and just, I found recently that I just kept listening to podcasts that kept talking about the shootings and Black Lives Matter. And then I also found myself talking about it a little bit more on my platform because that's what we're in. And I was like, nope, Marco, we are going to stand out and we're not doing that. It is
exactly.
It is important, but we're going to let other people do they talking. And yeah. So if y'all need to hear something that's not related to political and all this other shit in the world, come hear me out.
Definitely do that. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'll holla.